Oregon is undefeated and on a roll. Coming off a victory over 18th-ranked Georgetown, the Ducks will match their best start in 10 years with a victory today. Nebraska will turn to their big man, Alex March, to keep that from happening. At 6'11", he can dominate any game from the post. It's a Pac-10 Big 12 matchup now on FSN. Welcome to the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon for the 9th annual Pape Jam. Today, it's the Nebraska Cornhuskers from the Big 12 Conference and the Oregon Ducks from the Pac-10. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Dan Bowamity. We have a David versus Goliath matchup today. Goliath being the big guy, Alex March from Nebraska. And there's a little guy at Oregon who's one of the smallest players in the nation, but leading the Pac-10 Conference in scoring.
Well, if there's been a surprise in college basketball, it's the 5'6" Tawan Porter. Now, he has been unbelievable for Oregon. At 38 already in one game, he can drive to the goal, Steve. Tremendous outside shooter and can find his shot anytime he likes. And inside for the Cornhuskers, they've got a superb player in Alex March. He can score around the goal. He can step away and make the shot, and he'll have to come up big today if Nebraska's going to win.
And he has Nebraska at 5-1 this year. Porter leading the conference in scoring, threes per game, free throw percentage. He has been outstanding. It is the Oregon Ducks and the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and it comes your way next on FSN. Pac-10 College Hoops on FSN is brought to you by Pontiac, official performance machines of the NCAA and Pac-10. See the all-new Pontiac showroom at your Pontiac dealer today. Welcome back to the Rose Garden. Nebraska comes to Portland with a 5-1 record. Their only loss to Rutgers. Oregon is 6-0, coming off a stunning victory at Georgetown. Let's check out the starting lineup. Nebraska going with 4 guards and center March. Ryan Anderson, watch for him, 13.5 points per game, a freshman from Seattle. But they are missing Jamel White with academic issues. For the Ducks, 4 guards and 6'9" Marty Lunan, who leads the Pac-10 in rebounding. Malik Hairston, first start of the year. He missed most of November with a groin problem. And Dan, your Pontiac keys to the game.
Well, you talk about the Pontiac keys for the game in Nebraska. They have to control the tempo. Points in the paint are important, and they've got to have some kind of action and do a good job of controlling the game. For Oregon, perimeter shooting, high octane. Let's get it moving. Let's get the tempo up. Let's get some opportunity shots.
So not unleaded. You're going with the full jet
octane.
fuel.
You got to go with the jet fuel if you're the Ducks and see if you can force the action and get this game going.
Nebraska in the white and red, and Oregon in the green and yellow. Down low it goes. This is the big man March. He's averaging close to 21 per game, but they have a whistle. It looks like Tawan Porter, when he stripped the basketball from March, also was on the baseline, so it'll be Nebraska basketball. And there is Ernie Kent. You'll see he is not wearing a suit and tie. That's because he suffered a rotator cuff injury while he was bicycling back in October. And going to the hoop and scoring is Nebraska for the early 2-point lead. You see Oregon going with a very small lineup. Malik Hairston is 6'6", Bryce Taylor at 6'5", Lunan at 6'9", Porter 5'6", and Aaron Brooks allegedly 6 feet tall. Nebraska, they will play mainly man defense with their new coach, Doc Sadler. That is what he did so well at the University of Texas, El Paso.
I had a couple of great years at UTEP, and his team is going to play exceedingly hard. I mean, they've got a very good defensive team, man-to-man pressure, and they're giving Oregon all they want. Shot clock winding down.
There's Porter getting the shot off. He's averaging close to 21 per game, and he misses this first, and it's Nebraska basketball. And there is the Doc. First year he went 48 and 18 in 2 years at UTEP, and he replaced Barry Collier, who resigned to become the athletic director at Butler.
By the way, Butler's off to a pretty good start, Steve. Butler's like 10-0 already, and one of the surprises in college basketball, they've gotten off really strong with wins against Tennessee, Indiana, Notre Dame, Gonzaga. So they really, Todd Licklider's done a great job at Butler.
Meantime, Oregon with the basketball. Aaron Brooks, who was the point guard last year, Porter is it this year. The Brooks will move to the point late in games. Lunin. Right now, it looks like Oregon's having a tough time decoding the Nebraska defense. Aaron Brooks missing. It's Cornhusker basketball, and they throw it away. Ryan Anderson tried to feed the low post in March. Here's Hairston with the layup. And it's good to see Malik back after the groin injury. He did play against Georgetown 27 minutes, and he said he was ready to go and make his first start today.
Yeah, he's a pivotal player for the Ducks. No question. Hairston can get out and transition. Look at the way they're playing March inside. Lunin trying to front. They don't want March to handle the ball because everything runs through him, and they're doing an excellent job so far in the early going. Nice little jumper there from Ryan Anderson. Here's another guy that's been a huge surprise. I mean, he was, let's face it, a little bit under-recruited, signed early with Nebraska, and he's about 6'4", playing a 4-spot, Steve, but he's come up big. Terrific score and good in transition.
Great high school program, Rainier Beach and Seattle, Washington. They won the state title last year, and Anderson averaged 19 per game.
You know, it says a lot coming out of a top high school program. You know,
yes.
Rainier Beach has been good year after year after year. And you remember Nate Robinson went to Rainier Beach, Jamal Crawford. They've had some unbelievable talent, and this is a guy here he's used to the big stage. I mean, he's not going to get frightened playing out here.
Both these coaches like to get kids who have won state or league championships. They want that character. Malik Hairston on the drive. Beautiful feed to Lunin, who was failed by March. Now, March got in foul trouble against Rutgers, and Doc Sadler said a lot of those were unnecessary fouls.
Yeah, and that's a big foul if you're a Cornhusker fan. It's good strategy by the Ducks. Let's attack to the goal. Let's make March play a little defense inside, and obviously Nebraska not the same team with him out of the game. So one early foul, and you can bet Ernie Kent's going to try to punch it inside, continue going to the goal. Even if you don't score a couple of times, let's hope, if you're an Oregon fan, you can get that second foul on March in this early in the first half.
There you see Ernie Kent still not at full speed with his right arm in the sling because of that bicycling accident about 20 miles from home, was it?
Yeah, he had the bicycle accident 20 miles from home, but didn't have the operation until 5 weeks after he had the accident because he didn't realize he had a torn rotator cuff. He said, you know, when I went to the chalkboard, you couldn't write on it. I kind of got the clue there was something wrong with my shoulder. I better have them take a look at it. There's the over the top. Again, great.
Another steal by Bryce Taylor, who they say might be the most improved player on the team.
Well, again, if they're fronting down low, put some pressure on the passer and get a little bit of help on the weak side. Ooh, that's a night. He may have stepped out of bounds when he came down. I thought the official was right on the spot there. And out of bounds, it will go to the Cornhusker. Good out of bounds. I didn't like it. Let's just run a little out of bounds play. And, you know, Anderson's one of those guys, Steve.
He knows how to play.
Yeah, he knows how to play. And, you know, you don't notice him. You think he's kind of floating around. By the time the game's over, he's got like 18 points and 7, 8, 9 rebounds. And, you know, he's just a solid basketball player.
Porter finding an open. Bryce Taylor, who misses the three, and knocking the rebound to himself is the big man, Alex March. He's out of Sydney, Australia, originally from Serbia. At the top of the key is Richardson. Charles Richardson, one of the top point guards early in the Big 12 Conference. He had 15 assists in one game.
There's a little screen and roll, and they're trying. Look, March has him pinned. That's a great job. He's got nice hands. That's a great pass. Look, you have to give Nebraska a whole lot of credit. What they're doing is they're featuring their big guy inside and doing a nice job.
We come to you from the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon, Nebraska, with a record of 5-1, playing against the Oregon Ducks. They could be unbeaten by the start of Pac-10 play, December 30th, but they have this game against Nebraska. They have another tough outing against Eastern Washington, but other than that, their schedule's rather light.
Yeah, they have a chance to go undefeated going into the Pac-10 conference. They've got a tough game this afternoon. I mean, the Cornhuskers a little bit short-handed. Jamel White did not make the trip because of academic reasons. He's a prolific outside player. But this young man right here, Alex March, has really gotten off to a nice start. Now, he has the one foul. So Doc Sadler's going to take him out, I'm sure get him back, but he doesn't want him to pick up that second foul. This is critical here for Nebraska. They've got a small team on the floor, and they have to hold Oregon, and they've got to do a nice defensive job here in this sequence.
Got Marcus Perry in the game, senior, and a blocking foul will be called against Nebraska. It will go against the freshman Ryan Anderson, who we've been talking about, has had 2 early field goals and playing well, averaging 13.5 points per game. Nebraska, though, commanding early the inside game with Anderson, 2 quick buckets. Nebraska has a 5-point lead despite not having Jamel White, but Oregon has some problems with injuries as well. Chamberlain Oguchi is not playing. He has a high ankle sprain, suffered in the last game, a victory over Georgetown. But this is a guy who has gotten off to a good start, but we remember that prolific scoring sensation in the Pac-10 tournament where he set the tournament record with 14 three-pointers made.
Well, Champ Oguchi is really a key part of this Oregon program. We talked to him before the game, Steve, and he feels it's going to be about 2 weeks, and he'll be back. So that is a big loss because he's played very well for the Ducks early in the year. And coming out of this timeout, Oregon not off to a very good start. They've been defended well. They haven't had many clear shots at all. I mean, everyone has been harassed, and the Ducks need a productive trip down the floor.
And this comes up empty. A couple of threes missing. One from Porter, who's missed both of his shots, and now one from Malik Hairston.
Well, you see that half-court set. They run their motion well.
I'll tell you, March has been everywhere. No, excuse me.
Yep. Letsom, who came in for March, it doesn't. Now that's exactly what Nebraska needs. I mean, you get March on the bench, and Letsom comes in and gets a nice tip in.
There's Marty Lunan inside, and a foul will be called against Nebraska. Letsom didn't play much early because he had a high ankle sprain. But here is Jim.
Well, and
quality minutes.
And you got to get bodies on guys, and that time you jump with people. And don't forget, Oregon is not a big team. I mean, you got Marty Loon at about 6'8"ish. He's playing the post. He likes to bring his man outside on the offensive end, but defensively, this Duck team relies on speed and transition, and so far Nebraska's been able to slow him down.
Marty did a great job in the Georgetown game against 7'2" Roy Hibbert. Yeah.
He's got great vision. You know what? I tell you, he split the defense. He's like lightning quick.
Well, Ernie doesn't want to see what he saw in the first half against Georgetown where they did not shoot the well, and he said, we had a lot of wide open shots. Here's Porter grabbing the middle of the floor and throwing up and in his first field goal. Tawan Porter from Renaissance High School in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, tremendous high school program. He's a winner, been on state championship teams. And another guy that was somewhat under-recruited. Nobody believed because of his size he could play. Well, forget that myth. This guy can do it.
Ryan Anderson with his 3rd field goal of the game, and inside is Taylor with the bucket and a chance for 3.
The Ducks need to get the crowd in the game. Well, so far, Nebraska's done a nice job of keeping the crowd out. But that's the kind of transition that the Ducks love. Get it in the open floor, take it to the goal, make good decisions on the way to the basket, and see if you can finish plays. There's that beautiful pass and the play inside, and a good effort by Oregon, and Taylor will get to the line to try to accomplish a 3-point play. And here's another guy, you said it. I mean, you talk about Bryce Taylor. He has revolutionized, and he's a reborn player. He's not the same guy that we have seen the last couple of years, playing great defense and going to the goal. He's not just relying on his perimeter game.
He said he went home and worked with his father, Brian, who was a fine player.
Good
at
idea.
Princeton and
good idea.
NBA. And they worked on driving to the hoop. Well, Nebraska trying to take it inside as March comes back in the game. And there's a personal foul. And it'll go against March, his 2nd personal foul. They have to have him on the floor for 35 minutes, I think, to be successful.
Well, you got a problem now, and again, tremendous defense. There's Bryce Taylor again. You saw him at the offensive end, and he sneaks right in there and gets super position, and now they're going to try to get March out of the game. I think you attack right now. March has the 2 fouls. I think Lunan needs to put the ball on the ground, maybe go to the goal.
Bryce Taylor with the three.
But Steve, it was only a suggestion. Because if Bryce is open, you just let it go.
Is that how you coached in the past?
You know what?
Here's a guy, you drop the play and you go, hey, it's just a suggestion.
Right. He has 2 fouls. We want to go at him. But you know what? If you're wide open and it goes down, forget it.
March battling, winning it is Richardson. Here's Anderson, missing the three.
You see March does not want to go over the back. Now I think they need to back it out and see if they can attack March. Again, he has the 2 fouls. So take a look, and Lumen is not receiving the ball. See if they can find Marty Lumen.
Well, Marty's asking for it. He's got his right hand up, now setting a screen. Hairston trying to out-battle March, and it'll be a held ball situation.
Well, we talked about Bryce Taylor and how he has reborn his game and just done a beautiful job. There's the penetration. You see Brooks draws the defense, kicks it out. Nice little wide open J inside.
There is Bryce and his numbers this year, 15.5 points per game. His points per game up 4. But Ernie Kent told us he went home to L.A. last year, watched the Final Four and how hard UCLA played, and he came back and he said, Coach, I know exactly what they're doing. I mean, this is a unit that's really committed to the team. It's easy Lumen with a fine move down low. But for Bryce Taylor, he did recommit himself. He cut off his hair. He got into that weight room, and Ernie said he's basically grown up.
Some players come early, some come late. You hope they all get there at some point. And it looks like Bryce has arrived. There again, a little over the top.
And Leadsom is back in for Doc Sadler. Didn't have Leadsom early because of a high ankle sprain, but Ryan Anderson.
There you take a look at Marty Lonan, and you see what he can do. Now, he's not only an outside guy, but a good drop step and a spinner move. Now, there's a beautiful pass. Just didn't finish it. There's the difference between Leadsom, not quite as big as March. March probably would have got that one down.
Lonan with the left hand. Well, he looks like he's much improved from a year ago and looks like he's a more confident player.
Well, listen, Marty Lonan has a great skill set. I mean, he can shoot on the perimeter. He's very good with his back to the basket and an intelligent player, so he understands how to play.
Another winner, won back-to-back state championships, Redmond, Oregon. And that will only be the 4th team foul. For a while, it was 5 team fouls for Nebraska and Ernie Kent's team with just 1, but now they've committed 3 in the last 3 minutes. Lunan inside twice, and Oregon's up by 3. Oregon has a 3-point lead on Nebraska, 11:37 remaining in the first half. The U.S. Bank Player of the Week, Josh Shipp of UCLA, averaged 17 points per game, and he hit a career high 24 against Long Beach State, including 6 3-pointers. This is a guy who did not play last year because of a hip injury, and Ben Houghton is delighted to have him back.
Yeah, I guess it didn't bother him a whole lot, just kind of stepping in. So congratulations to Josh Shipp. You see the numbers on our U.S. Bank Pac-10 Player of the Week, and just a tremendous line of 17, 4.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and the Bruins are rolling, playing tremendous basketball.
They lost Jordan Farmar, one of the top point guards in the country, and Baron Collinson has really lifted his game, and they're number 1 in the nation for the first time in years.
Steve, I felt, I really liked Collison's game. I mean, when he came in, here's a guy that did not start. He came in and really gave the Bruins a lift every time he was in the game last year. Farmar's a tremendous player, but Collison in 1 game this year, Steve, 1 game now, he had 10 steals. 10 in 1 game. A lot of teams don't get 10 steals. He had 10 in 1 game.
So you're saying he's got good hands?
He's got pretty good quickness and good hands. Speaking of good hands, how about Ryan Anderson?
This guy's your power forward at 6 feet 4 inches tall, and he plays inside and outside, and he has been very strong for Doc Sadler this year.
Well, look at now, Tatron. Nice block. Good job to come from the weak side.
Porter misses his 4th shot of the game. Catron with the rebound. Brooks kind of came down hard. Porter with the basketball, gets it low to Luna. Like a two-man game between Hairston and Luna.
And you've got a guy guarding Luna who's about 3 or 4 inches shorter. And Luna traveled before the shot, but I'm not going to say he traveled. Catron, he's a big body going to the goal. I mean, he's going to go ahead and take it in there on him.
I mean, Lunan has a lot of responsibilities moving from the wing inside, but he creates a lot of challenges for the opposing defense. Good passer, good footwork.
Well, here's the theory with Marty Lunan. When he's being guarded now by a smaller defender, he's going to play closer to the basket. But normally, he's going to be defended by a bigger guy. So he's going to step away, spread it out. So he forces you. He can go either way. He's a tough cover. So you're not sure how to play him. So it's very difficult. And he's so good at bouncing the ball from the perimeter that he causes all kinds of problems for bigger guys.
And Ernie Kent tried to convince him to shoot even more last year. He was turning it down, but with more confidence this year. Catron down low on the block. He's doubled. Fine pass by Catron inside to Brooks. Marcus Perry with the basketball. Richardson plays about every single minute, and he's got the ball covered by Brooks now. Unable to play Mark probably the rest of the way because he has 2 fouls.
Well, if you're Doc Sadler, you would, unless the game gets a little bit out of hand, you're going to keep March on the bench for the remainder of the half.
Charles Richardson missing the 3. Hairston with the rebound. He's played well in his first start. Brooks with the pickup, gets it to Luna. He can hit the 3 and does!
Well, they asked him to shoot a little bit more. They said, Marty, will you please shoot the ball? And again, he can move away from the goal and very adept at making that long-range start.
That's 9 points for Marty Luna. Anderson. A little long. Again, Hairston really pinned his man well, sealed him off. Brooks brings it down the floor.
First energy out there, right?
And threw it away. But it was last touched by Ryan Anderson, so Oregon will still have the basketball. Marks and Belander come in for Nebraska.
Well, here's that beautiful pass. And again, Catron with the great vision that time, got it inside, and then Marty Lunan with a tremendous look from deep. So Oregon can beat you low, they can beat you outside, and I'm sure Doc Sadler wasn't happy with one of the calls in there, so he's talking to the official. And see if they get Hairston over the back. Belander, good job that time of playing the passing lane.
And it looked like it hurt Belander. I mean, they've got a lot of guys who have been injured. You can see that left shoulder causing him problems. It's the first foul on Malik Hairston, so Nebraska will have the basketball down by 6. This is the biggest disadvantage of the afternoon.
Well, with this lineup, let's face it, they're going to have to make some long-range shots. And how about that? Belander just kind of coming in the game.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, I mean, just come in the game, and what does he do? He intercepts the ball and makes a 3.
Hey,
Doc's thinking that's a pretty good substitution, I think.
And Nebraska's 5th nationally in three-point shooting, better than 50%. And the problem is, in their last game, they shot almost 60% against Rutgers and lost the game.
Steve, here's the last goal. You see that double screen for Belander, really well executed by the Cornhuskers. They do a nice job, and that was a long-range tray that time. It looked like it was behind the NBA line. They have the 2 lines out here on the floor. Belander may have been a little confused and got way out there, but it didn't matter.
So here is Hairston at the free throw line, and Oregon's usually pretty good. They've been shooting 76% from the free throw line this year, but under 60% in this afternoon's game, and Hairston commits his 2nd personal foul. Porter will come back in. Catron, Hairston still on the floor, and Adrian Stelle, who is a walk-on. Charles Richardson trying to back his way in on Juwan Porter, and we have a whistle away from the ball, and there is a offensive foul against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And it will go against Sek Henry. There's Adrian Stelle. He came to Oregon just to go to school and was the janitor, cleaning up the floor. He was cleaning up the bathrooms in McCourt, and the players asked him to participate in some pickup games, and then went to Coach Kent and said, hey, Coach, this guy's pretty good. And Stelly was pretty important last year in a big win over Washington. Well, a rare tough first half for Jawan Porter. And that is the 6th team foul on Oregon. They lead by 3. And that'll be the 7th team foul against Oregon. We've got a time on the floor, 7 minutes and 54 seconds remaining first half here in Portland, Oregon. Nebraska travels well, and you better believe they're going to have a host of Cornhuskers down in Texas when they play in the Cotton Bowl against Auburn, and the game will be televised on Big Box.
So
here are the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Who's your pick?
Yeah, I like what Nebraska's done this year.
All right, you're going with Cornhuskers.
Auburn's got a great defense, though. So that's Zach Taylor, their quarterback.
Steve, who's your pick?
I'm going to go with the Cornhuskers.
Thank you. Get off the fence here.
I'm a good friend of Mark Boehm, who is the assistant athletic director at Nebraska. I had to stay with an old friend who graduated from the fine university, Kansas State. Now, and as a matter of fact, he was very influential in what happened at Pitt. He and Steve Peterson helped hire Ben Howland at Pitt, and then, of course, hired Doc Sadler here in Nebraska.
Well, Bob Huggins will, I've already seen the Wildcats, Kansas State will get better with Billy Walker on December 16th. And they had a great recruiting class, and just a matter of time. just a matter of time before they're challenging for that conference championship in the Big 12.
Here's Jawan Porter missing the threes, missed all of his threes in this game, and this guy came in averaging over 21 per game and shooting better than 51% from three-point range. Charles Richardson being defended by Porter. Meantime, Bryce Taylor and Marty Lunin will come back in the game. Ernie Kent sees a little bit of a sluggish offense here. And they'll take out Jovan Catron. And Adrian Stelly. Brooks will come back in as well. Mitch Platt is staying in the game, and Lunin is going to go to the 4 spot. So it'll be Porter, Lunin, Platt, Taylor, and Brooks on the floor for the Ducks.
A little bit of a size advantage now for Oregon. So let's see if Oregon can take advantage of it, try to attack down low, try to get some goals near the basket. Well, they're not. They're just going to shoot it on the perimeter. But they should have some opportunities as far as second and third chances. Got to screen these guys out if you're the Cornhuskers.
It was a great penetration and kick by Brooks, but they've got to be able to make that shot. Taylor inside to Platt. Tough miss. And the kid from Las Vegas gives it up to Kyle Marks. Here's Charles Richardson, their point guard. Again, one of the Big 12 leaders in assists this year, averaging better than 7 per game. Brooks is on Sek Henry.
Still man-to-man.
Marks twisting around Platt, gives it up to Verlander, who hits his second 3 of the afternoon.
Paul Verlander. He's just come in this game and played great defense and knocked down a couple of threes. No big deal.
He's got a nuclear high.
That's right, he sure does.
Here's Porter.
Good job by Henry to come from the backside.
Juwan Porter's having a tough game. I mean, this is as tough as just 1 for 7 from the floor.
Yeah, here again, but look at the tremendous pass by Marks. He does a great job to set that play up by drawing the defense and finding Verlander in a corner. And, of course, Verlander delivered with the long-range trade.
Brooks will inbound, gets it to Porter. His pull-up is no good. 1 for 8. Lunin with the rebound, and is fouled, and Marty will be at the foul line trying to give Oregon the lead.
The good news, if there is good news for Tawan, is he's able to get his shot off.
Yes, he is.
Well, you know, you kind of laugh at that, but the fact is he's 5. He has no problem. He got 8 shots attempted. It's 5-6. Ball has not gone down for him, but I think if it's open, he's he's got to keep his confidence. If he's got a wide open shot, he's got to go ahead and let it go.
Yeah, Porter averaged 31 points per game his first 3 games, and all of a sudden the defense started moving over. His last 3, he has only been averaging 13 points and shooting 35% from three-point range.
Steve, after you get 38 and you make 10 threes in a game, it gets people's attention. And all of a sudden now, schools at Scout are saying, we can't leave this guy open. We got to start running. Put our best defender on him. He's drawing that kind of coverage.
The Pac-10 has some marvelous freshmen this year. We'll talk about them at halftime.
It's the year of the freshman in college basketball.
We're seeing more because of the 20-year-old rule. Greg Oden staying in.
Kevin Durant. I mean, there's so many good freshmen, and you can sit here and just, rattle off like, 15 to 20. The Pac-10 certainly has their share.
Second Henry misses. Lunin rebounds. Porter almost throws it away and does. Strobridge with the steal, but stepped on the sideline, so he'll turn it back over to the Ducks, who lead by 1. Litzen will come back in, and Anderson will leave. But I tell you, Doc Sadler staying in the game despite not having Alex March on the floor. This may really help him in the second half.
Not having Alex March. You've got Ryan Anderson on the bench. Jamel White, who is one of their top scorers, did not make the trip because of academic reasons. So you're right. You got to give them a salute, and they're doing it with their defense. I mean, this is a team that's going to play very strong out there. They're going to pressure you. They're going to get after you a bit. You're going to have to execute if you're the Ducks to get some wide open shots.
Yeah, we asked Doc yesterday what he is most proud of from the team, and he said the effort. I mean, it has been tremendous intensity the first 6 games.
Oh, what a pass.
Henry.
Oh, what a pass. Just couldn't finalize it. What a play.
And they've got a 4-on-1 break going. Porter right side trying to take his man. Brooks missing the 3. Porter rebounds and steps in the sideline, and it will be Nebraska basketball. So the Ducks having a real tough time from three-point range, and they came in shooting better than 35%. Chris Ballum back in the game, replacing Kyle Marks, who will take a seat. Doc Sadler does not have a deep team, and they are still very young.
Well, you look at the team on the floor now for the Cornhuskers. You've got Ryan Anderson on the bench. I mean, talk about go-to players, and they're really going to have to execute to try to get a quality shot. Maybe they're going to try to force it inside. That may be their strategy, because they don't really have a guy out there that's just going to step away unless Strobridge is wide open, can make a long-range 3. Guys are really working hard. They're doing it. Look at that kind of position. Katron just can't get around in front, and just a great job by Ballham that time, just to establish position. You're in the one-on-one. Let's draw some fouls. Let's slow the tempo down. Let's get to the line, see if we could convert some free throws.
That was the first foul on Jovan Katron, sending Ballham through the line. Ballham, he's had a tough time. He complained to the staff of weakness in his legs and held out of some early practices, so still does not have his stamina. Litzen defending Lunin. Lunin, that's his second three-pointer, and he now has 11.
Yeah, good high screen and roll that time. You run Lunin, let him set a screen. If they all of a sudden switch off, he's wide open for the 3, and he makes another one.
And that's a 3, so give him 12 points now for Marty Lunin. Strobridge. Marcus Perry, good from three-point range, but a bit short, and Lunin with the rebound. Marty's done a marvelous job, leading the Pac-10 in rebounding, almost 11 per game. He's got 5 in the first half.
Yeah, you're right about Porter. He's had a tough time getting open shots. I mean, they've been right up on him. Everyone has been harassed. That time got a piece of it, and Oregon retains. No new shot clock. Where's he going to do it again?
A little short this time, but Hairston rebounding. They swing it to Lunin. Well, the passing's been good. Their three-point range finally makes the mark. That's Tawan Porter's first of the ball game, and just a third in 11 attempts for Oregon.
Still, he's got to keep shooting. And I thought Lunin was a great penetration, a nice move to the goal to draw the defense. Very unselfish Oregon team.
Just getting good shots.
Getting great shots.
Nebraska's had some open looks, though, but denied. Here's Richardson, tried the dribble penetration and then kick, and was hammered to the floor by Catron, who picks up his second personal foul. Big man from Portland, Oregon.
Well, you take a look at the screen and roll, Steve. Here's Marty Lunan, just kind of give it back to Lunan, and then how about Tawan Porter from who? Marty Lunan. No, nice teamwork by the Ducks.
It's going to be a good year in the Pac-10 Conference. Every team is either at 500 or above. And how about Washington State and the job Tony Bennett's done? What a win against Gonzaga and Pullman the other day. Derek Lowe inside with a bucket. And Papa Dick Bennett was on the sideline just cheering for his son. And Tony got the win 77-67. We haven't seen this kind of party Pullman in a long time.
No, it's been a long, long time. And congratulations to Tony with that great win. And you look at the standings in the Pac-10. I mean, unbelievable. Look at Washington State, Steve, at 8-1 already.
And Arizona at 6-1. But there have been some big wins by the conference. Arizona knocked off Illinois and Louisville. UCLA beat Brigham Young, Kentucky, Georgia Tech. Oregon knocked off Georgetown recently.
Well, not long ago, there was a week where the Pac-10 had won 26 or 7 non-conference games in a row. So the conference, and you know what? The Big 12's not taking a backseat to anybody either. I mean, they've gotten off to an unbelievable start. I mean, how about you look at Oklahoma State, Missouri, and of course, Billy Gillespie's team in A&M, a top team. So there are so many good teams also in the Big 12. It's still early. Obviously, it's early in the year, but both conferences have gotten off to great starts.
Big 12, Pac-10 getting together today. Texas A&M is playing at UCLA in that Wooden Classic. Here's Brooks inside. A&M will go to the free throw line for 2. I really like their passing this year.
Well, that's a key to success with any basketball team, and I think we've seen it this afternoon with Oregon. And I mean, look at the numbers on Marty Lunan. You talked about the fact that he was the leading rebounder in the league, but he's a guy that it's all about shot selection. He's doing a beautiful job of getting the open shot, understanding the game, using his dribble penetration to set other people up, and and he's a guy that can play inside and outside, so they can run him at the post, play him at the 4. He can do a lot. He's a multi-dimensional player and having a big year.
And he's on target for his 4th double-double of the year. Don McAllister stopping play, wanted to make sure who made the foul. And Lunan already has 12 and 5. He had a game this year where he had 18 points and 17 rebounds. That's like Greg Ballard time.
Ballard's
pretty good. He has a 20-20 game.
He's a pretty good player, that Ballard.
Maybe Oregon's best.
No, we don't want to kind of throw him in that category yet. Greg Ballard, one of the all-time greats. There again, front the post. Look at Marty Lunan inside. They're just not allowing the ball, the Ducks to go inside. And don't forget, Sek is left-handed, so that's a move he can make to the goal. You've got to overplay his left, force him right.
Lunan with his 6th rebound. Hairston from 3-point range, missing short.
Get on the ground.
And Nebraska's got numbers. 2-on-1 break. Led some to the finish.
Great pass by Henry. And I think this last minute and a half here of the half is so vital to the Cornhuskers. You got to remember, their leading scorer, March, has the 2 fouls, has barely played, has not scored a field goal. He's only got 2 points. So if they can get out of this half only down maybe 5 or 6, I mean, Doc Sapp is going to be really happy. How about that?
What a shot by Richardson.
Are you kidding me?
Ernie Kemp wants a timeout. He didn't like that last possession at all.
Gritty performance by the Cornhuskers.
His point guard, Tawan Porter, got in the air and then tried to force the decision, and the steal resulted in a hoop. Here's the last 2 Nebraska buckets.
Well, this is what happens when you get on the ground and you get after the ball in there. Henry just doing a great job to give the ball up to Ledsam, who ran the floor, and then Richardson just going to take it in traffic. I mean, I don't know how you make that shot, but he did. That's just an acrobatic circus, scintillating move all the way high on the glass. What's coming up, Steve?
Well, we will take a look at the freshman phenoms in the Pac-10 Conference. First half highlights and stats, and there's some good ones all over the league. The freshmen, the Lopez twins at
there's a ton of them. There's a ton of them.
How about, who's the most surprising? That kid at California, Ryan Anderson. Wow, can he play?
Well, Ryan Anderson, who I've seen 2 or 3 times, let me say he's the real deal. He at 6'9" he can do a lot of things. He can shoot it. You know, you look at Marty Looney, you look at Ryan Anderson, similar type guys. Anderson probably may have longer range. I mean, he has been a big surprise along with Tawan Porter. If you're looking for early surprises in terms of freshness and productivity, those are two young men that have come up big for their respective schools early in the year.
Meantime, Nebraska tough on defense. See how quickly Richardson switched. Got out to Brooks after helping. And now he can miss the personal foul. And Brooks will be at the free throw line. But there's Charles Richardson. So important for success.
Well, this is a veteran move by Aaron Brooks. And, you know, he knows he's got Richardson. Little pump fake. Nice job to get him in the air. And then lean in and hoping to draw the foul and get it up there and get a roll. And now Brooks will get to the foul line.
Why is it so difficult for defensive players to keep their feet when a guy gives you a pump fake?
It's emotion.
It's emotion.
It's emotion. And I think when you teach guys to stay down, but the reality of it is when you're out there playing, sometimes you just lose a little bit of control, and you want to go up and contest the jump shot. So many times you're thinking of not blocking the shot, but contesting it. And lose your feet.
Oregon is leading because they're dominating the boards. They have double the rebound edge on Nebraska.
Of course, the big reason for that is March, the 6'11" center for the point, hasn't played. So he's a guy that can definitely rebound the ball.
24 rebounds for Oregon, only 12 for Nebraska, and still they're only down by 4. And now Oregon going for the final shot of the half as Brooks trying to take his man, Sek Henry. Loonan getting it low and kicking it out to Stelly. And Loonan misses the dunk. He gets the rebound, and Nebraska will head to the break field pretty good.
Everything but the ball going in for the Ducks. I mean, you can't ask for a better shot. Loonan, he's got a dunk and doesn't get it. So a very competitive first half. Marty Loonan came up big, and if you're Doc Sadler, you're thinking, hey, we're only down 4, and my best player barely played in the first half. So should be an interesting second half.
Nebraska against Oregon. It's the Ducks by 4 in Portland. Oregon with a 4-point lead over Nebraska, 31-27. Starting the second half will be the 6'11", 270-pound Alex March, who had 2 quick fouls in the first half. He's on the floor now with Charles Richardson, the point guard, Sek Henry, Ryan Anderson.
Interesting to see
Marcus Perry.
Interesting to see right away if they go to March inside. Well, not if you get away.
Sek Henry inside. It's a 2-point game. Oregon going with Porter, Loonan, Taylor, Brooks, and Hairston. Richardson on Aaron Brooks. Look at their defense. They really move and talk well.
See if they can pick up that third foul on March. You see Loonan. I'm surprised Loonan just didn't try to shoot it in there.
He made the move and had the opening, but instead he finds his teammate Brooks. And Aaron now has 7 points, and Oregon's lead is back to 4. Good patience. March down on the low block against Loonan, who fronts him.
And they get a little bit of help on the weak side every time they front him, so it should open up some outside like heel. Good rotation of the ball. He can make that shot.
March trying to tip it to himself, and let's see who gets the basketball. Looks like Nebraska will have it. They will.
Well, this is the penetration, and Marty Loonan didn't take it to the goal, but found Aaron Brooks, and that's what Oregon does exceedingly well, is that dribble drive and then give it up for the open shot.
Loonan playing with 1 foul, March with 2. Now he comes out in the high post trying to set a screen. Free up Anderson, but Richardson holds onto the basketball, and March has good post position, and then Loonan comes around the front.
Now, you don't have a big window when your big man has post position. You got to get him the ball when that opens up, and they didn't do it that time.
An offensive foul against Sek Henry. His second personal foul.
Yeah, Henry that time a little bit out of control, and again, here's Taylor. Again, he does a great job of giving help and drawing that charge and coming from the weak side. Hard to take it all the way to the basket in college basketball without somebody stepping in your way.
A little freshman, 5'6", Tawan Porter. only hit one three-pointer in the first half. Leonard again tried to take March, but denied. And here's Brooks again, off the glass, no. Hairston tried to tip it himself and claims the ball inside. And Malik will drop it home. Bryce Taylor doing all the little things.
Yeah, he's working hard and getting second efforts and giving the ball up, doing a nice defensive job. And he's got the task now of trying to contain Ryan Anderson, who I thought had a superb first half. Look at him front in there. They're going over the top, and Malik gives a little bit of help. And that's the way you play defense on guys. You front on a post, you harass the passer, and here's the pass inside on the last move, and then the steal, and you see Taylor. See, that's just good hands, activity, and then Hairston did not travel. Does a good job of not shuffling the feet to finish the play.
When Taylor came to Oregon, he was mainly a spot-up shooter. Now you've seen in the last 30 seconds he accepted a charge, he made a steal, he got the assist. And now they're finding Hairston inside, and he's lifting his game. Belander back in the game as Oregon has opened up an 8-point lead. That's their biggest of the afternoon. And a steal by Hairston takes it away to Taylor. He takes it to the hoop and scores!
Yeah, nice. And you know what's happening here, Steve? What's unfolding is the Oregon defense, and especially their interior defense, has caused Nebraska all kinds of problems. Because the over-the-top move that normally goes for a dunk has been defended well by Oregon. They're putting pressure on the passer, so it's not easy. And they've converted their defense to offense. What a nice job by Oregon.
Ernie Kent says the key to their early success, defense. They've been forcing 21 turnovers per game, and it's resulted in a 6-0 record. Oregon has opened up a 10-point lead. They're on an 8-0 run the last 3 minutes, and here is Bryce Taylor throwing it down.
Well, it's the explosiveness of the Ducks, and this is what they wanted, and it's keyed by their defense. That over-the-top pass has just not been effective for Nebraska, and again, Taylor all the way down, and that's like a 4-point swing every time you do that. You're giving up, doing a nice job of negating at one end and converting at the other.
And there's the run, and Ernie Kent told us the biggest change from last year has been their defense of hustle, intensity, and he said the kids got together and they ran a track program where they were running sprints all the time. He said they went to Bahamas, and that resulted in 10 practices, 5 extra games. They've helped with the bonding, and he said they are committed defensively this year.
And it was really a regimented program run by the juniors and the seniors of Oregon without the coaches, and they ran 400s and 200s and a ton of them. And Ernie said this team's in great physical condition.
Seth Henry, and once again, fine Oregon defense, and grabbing the basketball. What great hands by Brooks. Comes down the floor to Juan Porter with the floater. It does not go, and the rebound's controlled by Paul Belander. Seems like Nebraska is having a more difficult time getting the ball inside and rotating while reversing the ball against Oregon's defense now.
Yeah, Steve, they're used to having March wide open, and Verlander has really saved him. I mean, he's a young man that's come in the game late in the first. That's his third three-point shot of the game, and he's really been, and he has done it at both. You got to give this guy all the credit in the world. I mean, he's done it at the defensive end. He's given this team a big lift, and he's drilled every open shot. I mean, how do you like Paul Verlander?
I think even Doc Sadler's saying, who is this guy? The Oregon Ducks by 7 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and college football's greatest bowl games come to Fox, beginning with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic, followed by the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the FedEx Orange Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, and concluding with the Tostitos BCS National Championship game between Florida and Ohio State. The BCS Bowl Bash comes to Fox beginning on New Year's Day. Juan Porter, floor averaging 21.8, and Nebraska's done a fine job defensively on him, but he's been giving it up. He's been very fine on the dribble penetration and kick to teammates. Verlander backs off. Strobridge rotates over. Just 8 seconds left in the shot clock. Hairston.
Nice nice defensive sequence that time by the Cornhuskers, and they needed it. And they've done a good job to kind of climb back in this game. This would be a great time for March to really get active. I mean, he's been defended well, though. Newman's done a beautiful defensive job on him. Just can't enter the ball at the post. They're trying to find him right now. You just don't have much opportunity. He's open just for a second, but if you miss that one chance, you don't get many others.
Is one of the keys to denying that post how you defend the guy who's entering the ball?
No question. I think if you need to put pressure on the ball, the shot clock winding down. That's just tremendous half-court defense by the Oregon Ducks.
Noonan chases down a loose basketball. Brooks, that's a travel. Oregon had a 10-point lead, their biggest of the game. They've been dominating the board. They're plus 10 on Nebraska today, despite March being back in the game. He's shaking his head. He's been unable to get free. Here's a guy who came in averaging 21 per game and has only 2 points and 3 rebounds.
Yeah, he may elect to step away from the goal and face up, which he can do. There again,
they had him open for a second.
But you said the operative word. You said the operative word. He was open for a second, but that's a nice counter. That's his 4th three-pointer of the game.
He's going to have his own movie, like Zoolander. We're going to have Verlander. He came alive at the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. Paul Verlander, the man with the wounded shoulder.
Well, you know what? That shoulder's feeling a lot better, Steve. He started making a few shots. And Verlander, again, he's active. Now he's coming out. Well, all right. You can't make 4 threes. You're out. I'm sure he'll get back in.
What's Doc Sadler thinking?
Well,
you got to leave this kid out there.
Probably because, maybe he's hurting a little bit with his shoulder. And Doc says, well, maybe it's going to be a cameo on the bench. We just keep him there for a minute. Try to confuse Oregon and get him back in soon.
Well, Doc's very proud of him. He did a great job at El Paso. 48 wins in 2 years there. Brooks from 3. In and out. Nice rebound again by Catron. They're killing Nebraska on the boards. Noonan against March. Catron. That's not his area, but look how high Brooks got. At 6 feet tall, he just leaped in the air. Over 6'5", 6'6" players, and with one hand took it down.
And if you were at practice yesterday, the one thing that Doc Sadler and the Cornhusker really tried to emphasize was screening out. Make sure you get a body on guys, and it hasn't happened here this afternoon. Very active Oregon team, and second and third opportunities. Finally, you're going to make one after you've had so many.
The extra pass by Noonan, he gets another back. It's knocked free, and here comes Strobridge the other way. Nebraska's hanging in with tough defense and hustle. Anderson.
How about it? How do you like Nebraska? I mean, a little trailer and Ryan Anderson, proactive at the offensive end. You give him any kind of daylight, he's going to drill it in.
Nice move by Brooks. He looks like he's grown up a lot.
Steve, you love these intersectional games. I mean, this is a game that will benefit, obviously, both teams. I mean, high competitive game. March, he did catch the ball, but to his credit, the guy is not so. You would think scoring that many, he's just go ahead and shoot it.
Finally, how about those hands?
My recollection, that's his first field goal.
Yeah,
first field goal of the game.
Well, now Oregon's going back and forth, and Bryce Taylor filling it up. Ernie Kent, he's clapping his hands despite their wounded right shoulder. Was the first field goal by March. Charles Richardson trying to break down the defense, gets it low to March, who hooks it up, misses Noonan with another rebound. He has 9 now. So he's getting close to his 4th double-double of the year. Juan Porter. 4-3!
Great pass. Yeah, I tell you, this Oregon team is very dangerous. They are such a prolific perimeter shooting team, and they've got the quickness to create shots. And as he said, if they can get by, if they win this afternoon, which is in question, there's a chance that Oregon goes into the Pac-10 season undefeated. Here's the last one. Look at that.
Eastern Washington, though, they're pretty good. Pac-10 College Hoops on FSN is brought to you by U.S. Bank. Proud to be the official bank of the Pac-10 and home of the 5-star service guarantee. Visit usbank.com. How many stars does your bank have? We're here at the Rose Garden. Alex March has almost been invisible, scored 2 points first half, got 2 quick fouls taken out of the game, and has 2 points in the second half. So Oregon's going to try and defend him a little better as March goes to the sideline, averaging close to 21. And they've got Ray Schaefer on the floor, who is supposed to defend, but Kyle Marks is in the game, so Schaefer must defend the 6'9" Marks.
Yeah, Paul Valander back on the floor. So, with the bad shoulder, and the guy has not played a lot of minutes. Doc Sadler getting him in and out of the game, but Valander has just been huge. I mean, he's made all the threes and really has, along with Ryan Anderson, has kept Nebraska in the game.
Doc Sadler's team hanging in there, down by 7. Their one loss was to Rutgers by just 2 points, 75-73. And Ryan Anderson playing very well in this game, double figures again, the freshman from Seattle.
And they lost to Rutgers, who really had a superb shooting game. They shot the ball really well and still couldn't find a way to win that one.
The Rutgers shot 64%. Now Strobridge will come back in for Marcus Perry. Paul Valander out there, who has a career high 12 points, and Valander's just played so well. Brooks trying to force it into Taylor and throws it away. And now Nebraska can get a little closer. From the corner, Strobridge. Missing. Rebound, Anderson. This guy's just got a great feel for the game. Misfortune there. It looked like it was going to fall down. And here's Brooks and a foul against Strobridge. J.R. Strobridge broke his nose in practice 2 days ago and had his first practice with the mask yesterday. Again, they do not have Jamel White, the 6'3" sophomore from Brooklyn, New York, back home taking care of academic issues. He has a beautiful, smooth delivery, and Bryce Taylor hitting the 2. 13 points for Bryce, the junior from Los Angeles.
Solid out-of-bounds play that time by Oregon.
And Marks dribbled it on the baseline, so turns it back over to Oregon, who's opened up a 9-point lead.
Yeah, good movement and playing without the ball, and you try to run those out-of-bounds plays for your shooters, and a nice job by Bryce Taylor that time to get open, and just well executed that time in the half court by the Oregon Ducks. I think March got to get in there in a hurry. You look at the turnover story, and Cornhuskers with 12. And the Ducks only with 8. So Oregon is a team, they've got so many ball handlers on the floor. I don't foresee them being a high turnover team this year. They're going to take care of the ball, and they're very effective. You got Brooks, a guy that can play the point. He can play the number 2. They've got so many guys that can handle it. They're not going to turn it over.
March is coming back in for Kyle Marks. The foul went against Ryan Anderson. It was his 3rd. Meantime, Brooks has moved to the point guard, and Teron Porter has moved to the wing or 2-guard spot. They had Aaron, though, at the point late in that game against Georgetown. Also late in the game, their incredible comeback at Rice.
Yeah, that was a game at Rice, where Rice really had the Ducks. And Rice missed some free throws late, but you're right. The switch to put Brooks at the point reaped benefits in the Rice game, and he actually made all the plays coming down the stretch.
Porter hit 2 threes late in that game. They were down 8 with 50 seconds to go. And here's that last travel on Ray Schaefer. Oh, yeah, here it is. Well, I didn't think that was a travel.
Well, he took 1-2, so questionable. Ray takes such big steps, it probably looked like a travel.
Richardson, right wing, Strobridge. This is his 3rd straight shot. March with the rebound and has it knocked free by Schaefer, makes a nice play. And then we have a whistle and a foul call against Schaefer.
Well, you see 2 big bodies in there. I mean, Schaefer's at 7 feet, March 6'11", and that time a great job by Schaefer to hold position and get a piece of the ball, and then picked up a foul. First team foul against Oregon in the half, Steve, and there's 9:43 left, so Ernie Kent definitely has some fouls to take.
And 4 by Nebraska. Hairston comes back in, Lunan back in. Out goes Catron and Schaefer, as Oregon will go a bit smaller, but more speed.
Now the front. Lunan likes to play in front. When he's defending March.
Lander thought he had the pass inside. He did, but it was tipped off by his teammate out of bounds, so Oregon gets it back. And while Nebraska was arguing about the call, they get a wide open shot by Malik Hairston, who misses. Anderson defended by Hairston. Tried to get it to Anderson and have Maric roll to the basket. He was there, but an Oregon Duck defender got his hand and knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, Harrison had the great hands, but I thought a good idea. I mean, you said it. I mean, you look at Ryan Anderson; he just knows how to play. I mean, he really made a beautiful attempt in there. It didn't go, and again, good hands to save it.
So that is over the backboard. So Oregon will have it with a 9-point lead inside the 9-minute mark here at the Rose Garden. This is the 9th annual Pape Jam. Oregon wanted to come back because they were really embarrassed last year when they lost by 30 points to D. Brown in Illinois. They did not play well. Hairston was talking about it yesterday at practice. So was Bryce Taylor.
No, Illinois could put a hurt on you last year. D. Brown, one of the top guards in the country a year ago. So you're right, Oregon wanted to play. There's a tremendous pass and a good look inside. No finish, but again, who handled the ball and who made the play? Lunan. Good vision while he's handling and dribbling the ball toward the goal. This is just what Oregon does. I mean, this is their game. They do a nice job of, looking and finding the open guy. And Marty Lunan, again, look at the vision. Head up. He doesn't have his head on the ground when he's dribbling the ball, so he has options going to the goal.
So Marty Lunan with 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 rebound shy of a 4th double-double. Marks and Henry will come back in, and Strobridge and Anderson will leave. Nebraska's been kept in the game by the outstanding performance by Paul Belander, who has 12 points, a career high.
And I think you take a look at this game, and certainly the tempo. This is where Doc Sadler wanted. He didn't want this to be an 80, 90-point game. So he was hoping to keep it in the half court and execute March with the 2 fouls early. Didn't play much in the first half. Did a nice job. And they have a tendency to come back. Just when you think they're down and out, down by 9-10, they make a run at you. Great pass. How do you like that? Just good. Again, no finish.
Isn't it interesting on who has 2 of the best defenses in the Big 12 Conference? Texas A&M and Nebraska, and they're both disciples of that UTEP program. Billy Gillespie is taking on UCLA today, and of course Doc Sadler here with Nebraska. Bryce Taylor. I tell you, Oregon has missed a lot of easy shots.
Well, they've had the ball around the basket, and that's one area that you really got to work on. When you get that nice feed and you're going to the goal, that's the time you have to finish.
That's a good finish.
You haven't had much trouble out there, though. I mean, has Lunan had a game?
He's got 3 threes. Your post man, your 6'9" center, has 3 3-pointers in this game. And he gets called for the foul. For Marty, that should be his 2nd personal foul of the game.
Well, Ernie Kent has the luxury of some fouls to use at the post. You may see Schaefer come back in. Only the 2nd team foul on Oregon. I mean, they're in great shape in that area. They can take fouls.
They have their biggest lead of the afternoon, 11 points, and there's a block by Hairston. Ahead to Brooks, who's got Porter left side. Aaron's pulling up himself and misses the shot. Taylor chases it down, but was out of bounds when he threw it back. It'll be Cornhusker basketball when we come back, but the Huskers are down to Oregon here at the Rose Garden. Oregon has a 53-42 lead over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Next Sunday, Pac-10 basketball returns to FSN as the 9th-ranked LSU Tigers and Big Baby battle Oregon State in an early season non-conference showdown. That will be 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern here on FSN. And you've got Glenn Davis, Big Baby, 20 points, 10 rebounds per game against Marcel Jones had a modern day.
Yeah, Marcel Jones really had a nice year. And with Glenn Davis, he's lost weight, Steve. He's really rededicated himself. He's playing terrific basketball. And that should be a very good game. And Oregon State has Sasha Chewich back, Tarver at the point. You know that they're going to be waiting and ready for LSU. So that should be a good encounter coming up on our network. So an exciting game, LSU at Oregon State.
Overlander back in the game with Marks, Perry, Richardson, who's played almost every single minute of this game, and March. And here is March off the glass and good, and Nebraska within 9.
Boy, nice sequence that time by Nebraska coming out of that timeout. And you know they're trying to feature March, and he steps away and does a good job to get it down. And Nebraska now down inside of double digits. They're down 9. And obviously they need a few stops. They've got to do a good job at this end of the floor. Try to contain, give them one shot, get it off the glass, which has been a problem for the Cornhuskers.
Bryce Taylor on the drive, and he gets nailed by a Cornhusker in the lane.
Well, the last time, and this is just good potency. Marty Luna's playing behind, little fake, and again, your pet peeve, Steve. You know, Luna left his feet. He was trying to contest, get off the ground, and he did that. You see a very smart, crafty player in March who just goes underneath and gets the easy goal.
Bryce Taylor knocks it down. And Bryce is the junior from Southern California. His dad, Brian, is here today watching him, an NBA player. And he's got 14 points, make it 15. He's tied Lunan for a high in the game. Lunan with 15 points to go with his 9 rebounds, and Taylor 15 to go with his 3 boards. Marks at the high post. Richardson waiting for March to post up. He's trying to take his man Porter. Instead swings it to Belander off on the left side. And the ball is no good, and a violation against Nebraska will turn it back over, and Doc's mad.
Well, I think, Doc wanted a foul. He thought Richardson going to the basket time was contested and pushed, and that's why he stepped on the end line. And Belander didn't get it down, but it wouldn't have counted anyway.
14 turnovers for the Cornhuskers, 9 for Oregon. Von Porter now. When you get up the floor to Aaron Brooks. Taylor wide open. A little short. March high for the rebound.
Might have numbers here. Might have an opportunity shot if they get it down. Not a bad shot. They're a pretty good shooter, and I think if you're the Cornhuskers, you have to take your chances.
Give that! Anderson got a good look, but misses the shot. A scramble for it, and it's out of bounds. It should be Nebraska basketball, and great hustle by the freshman Anderson.
I think Ryan Anderson was upset at himself for missing that shot inside. He had a pretty good look at it right here. Kind of shoots it on the way up, then just targeted the ball and went on the ground, went after it, and went off of it. That's a little questionable when you're on the ground and a player makes contact. Sometimes that is called as a foul. It didn't happen that time.
Doc Sadler knew he had to slow this game down. Oregon was averaging 83 points per game. He's held them to 55 and 555, but they have not shot the ball well. Under 40% for the game. Oh, how about that? Give it to March.
That was planned.
Yes.
How about that? Threw it high by Anderson, and Marsh just tipped it in.
Tawan Porter missing the 3. Tawan Porter having his most difficult game as a collegian. He is 3 for 12 from the floor now.
Well, here's the last play, high to low. You see March just little tap. Obviously, he wasn't trying to tip the ball in, but still, he was just trying to tap it to himself and got a friendly roll that time.
Oregon turns it over. Ernie Kent upset, but still unbeaten at 6-0 and with a 9-point lead in the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
You see that graphic on field goal percentage. Both these teams playing nice and pressure man-to-man. And I'm telling you about Nebraska. They will not go away.
How did this young guy, the Pac-10?
This young guy, Ryan Anderson, I got to tell you. You said it earlier, Steve. He understands and has a great knowledge of the game and is in the right place at the right time. Tremendous feel for it. And by the way, he's a tremendous shooter. This guy can knock a guy like Ryan Anderson. How about it?
Well, they found him, and I'm sure Doc Sadler glad he was able to get him. Doc's bringing in 7 newcomers. I rarely see a school offer 7 scholarships, but he's got some good players coming in next year, like Steve Harley and Rashawn Norwood. Those are 2 of the 7. Norwood out of a junior college in Walnut, California. But you see Big Red all over the nation.
Well, I can tell you this, they may be bringing in 7 new guys, but this guy right here, he'll be on the floor. He will not be supplanted, I'll tell you that right now. You see his average and what he's done today. He's got 15. And he's got nice composure on the floor. Just works hard, gets after it. Again, big sequence here for the Cornhuskers. You know, they kind of smell it now. They say, hey, the guys are only down 6. Not a good foul there because you're going to get Brooks in the foul line. 1-on-1 opportunity.
And only 2 team fouls for Oregon, while Nebraska's already sent the Ducks to the foul line. 3rd foul on Charles Richardson, their point guard. So Aaron Brooks having a terrific game.
Well, you know, Steve, if Oregon's going to seal the deal, they're going to have to do it at the foul line too. They can ill afford to go to the line and just, you know, these 1-on-1 opportunities, you know, you miss it, it's just like a turnover. So, and I like what Brooks did there. A lot of young people can watch Aaron Brooks shoot that free. See what he did? He shot the free throw. Instead of fading back, he leans toward the goal. I see so many young guys shooting free throws that fade backwards away, but Brooks has that good motion going toward the basket. And I think
never know when you get a tip.
Well, not only that, but you know, when you fade away, you're making a 15-footer or 17-footer. There's no reason for it.
Oregon again with an 8-point lead, 57-49. They can attack the glass now rather than settle for 3-point shots because they have the team foul advantage. March sets the screen and then rolls to the hoop, and coming from behind helping out is Aaron Brooks. Boy, he came from the weak side and just crept along that baseline and knocked it away from March, or he would have been home free for a dunk.
Now you got a shot clock, no reset. You have to be aware here if you're the Cornhuskers. No reset, and Penny gets it in. I mean, with 1 second left, and that ball did not hit iron. And March, right place at the right time.
Let's see if Oregon goes back inside with the foul advantage. Lunan being defended by March. Brooks feels he can take Philander, but he's gotten defensive help every time. There's Taylor outside. Lunan kicks it out to Brooks for 3. Nope. March with the rebound. They can close it to 4 or 3 here.
Yeah, they're going to slow it down. You see Doc Sadler saying to his guys, back it out, back it out. Now we have to feature March. Let's run everything through him. Get Anderson and maybe March on the same side of the floor. Philander, they're defending him. Now, good job by Hairston, not giving Philander that open look.
Richardson down low, March. What a feed by Charles.
What
wow.
a pass by Richardson. Was that like spectacular? I mean, unbelievable pass by Richardson inside. Steve, it's a 4-point game. And Nebraska 57-53, only down 4 with 3 to go.
Tell you what, they don't quit. I mean, they really get after it. And they're chasing Brooks all over the floor. See, I'd like to see Lunan take it here. Found his man Hairston, and Hairston finds home. Boy, Lunan's so clever. His head's up, his vision's great. He's either attacking the basket himself or he's giving it up to a teammate who's going to score.
Great catch by Hairston, though.
Yeah.
I thought the pass might have been a little behind, but athletic play by Hairston to convert.
He just knew the athleticism of his teammate.
Well, here's March. Now, this was right at the end of the shot clock. And watch the pass here by Richardson. A little reverse pass. A beautiful pin that time by March. And just a nice job. And here's the last Oregon scoring. And you were alluding to this. Marty Lewin, great vision. He's got that peripheral vision. Does a nice job to get it in there. And Hairston with the catch and the follow in the finish.
Marty Lunan, who is a junior from Redmond, Oregon. And They say he's stronger, better shooter. He worked camps in the summer in Redmond and Bend. He's made himself a complete player, but I think really dangerous. And the Pac-10 has a lot of Marty Lunin type players, guys who are either wings or power forwards playing the post. Look at Ivan Radinovich down at Arizona.
Boy, he had a nice start, hasn't he? Ivan has played terrific basketball. I mean, they've got with Williams and Budger. What a front line the Cats have.
Anderson. Missing the three. Marks halving it to himself. Instead, he gets it to a teammate, Strobridge. And they swing it left to Marcus Perry.
Patience now really important for the Cornhuskers. You don't need a quick shot. Again, try to feature your big guy. A quick shot there. Takes it. Well, Steve.
It was just a suggestion.
It was just a suggestion to get the ball to March. How do you like it, Nebraska?
Within 3. And a timeout was called by Ernie Kent prior to the tie-up in the corner. So Oregon will have it when we come back, but they only lead by 3 points with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left in this game. Boy, what effort we've seen from both clubs, but Nebraska, without Jamel White, Marcus Perry, a fine three-shooter, nails one from the corner to stay within 3 of the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, the Cornhuskers just would not disappear in this one, down by as many as 10 and 11 in the second half. They made a tremendous comeback. One of the key points, Steve, you got to remember, Oregon's only got 2 team fouls. So they have 4 team fouls to take without penalty of the opposition shooting. So you know they're going to take advantage of it. You don't want to fall in the act of shooting if you're Oregon, but certainly you can get aggressive and get after the ball.
There it is, the game reset. You see the timeouts. Oregon has 1 left, but they've only committed 2 team fouls. If there's a held ball, Nebraska will have it. And the ball tapped out of bounds. Ryan Anderson having a heck of a game. 15 points, 3 rebounds for the freshman from Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, well, the clock did not stop. So, they're going to get immediate. It looked like the clock kept going.
Time out on the floor. We'll be right back. A relentless Nebraska team within 3 of Oregon, 59-56 tomorrow. ACC Sunday Night Hoops returns when the 23rd ranked Maryland Terrapins take on Boston College in an early season showdown between division rivals. Coverage begins tomorrow with the college basketball tip-off show at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, right here on FSN. Marty Lunin having a terrific game, 15 points, 9 rebounds. And right now, Oregon with the basketball and with a 3-point lead. Brooks will be defended by Richardson.
This is a huge trip down the floor for both teams.
And Nebraska's done a great job taking away the driving lanes. This time Brooks gets free and rolls it in. Great move by Brooks. 13 for the senior.
See if Nebraska goes quick timeout. And now coming out of this timeout, if you're Oregon, I think you can really get aggressive, Steve, get after him and try to pressure him. And if you commit a couple of fouls, so what? Because the opposition's not shooting. But that was a big, big move. And, why not get your senior with the ball? And once you allow him to turn the corner, if you don't step out on him and stop his dribble, you have a huge problem. Because not only is he adept to go to the basket, he can find people if you come over to help. So as soon as you let that point guard turn the corner, you don't jump him, and you don't just come out on him and stop his dribble, good things will happen for the Ducks.
Well, here's our game summary. You see Nebraska now down by 5. Lunin and Taylor, 15 each, and then you've got Brooks with 13. Anderson, the freshman, with 15. And Marich, despite having a lot of foul trouble in this game, still has come back with 10 of his 12 in the second half. Yeah, that's the way they dress down in Eugene. They extend Halloween a little longer. It'll be inbounded by Charles Richardson. He'll be defended by Tawan Porter. Paul Valander back in the game.
Well, at this point of the game, you know that they'd love to have March or Anderson take the shot. Again, great hands. Well, Oregon's got those beautiful. They play the passing lane so well. Very active defensively with the hands, and they've negated quite a few easy shots by deflecting the ball out of bounds.
So Nebraska will have with 19 seconds left in the shot clock. They inbound to March. Perry hit a big three to pull them within 3 last time. March gets it inside on Lunan. Powers it up. Lunan with fine defense and taken away by Porter.
Well, that may have been the defensive play of the game. Marty Lunan got the crowd excited. A terrific, and not fouling. Did a beautiful job to negate the shot, keep it alive, and give the Ducks that opportunity.
He looks like a completely different player than he was a year ago. Just the look on his face, the confidence. Richardson's coming out on Brooks inside of 50 seconds now. 8 seconds left in the shot clock. And a three really like a dagger to the heart of the Cornhuskers.
I mean, are you kidding me or what? Timeout. Are you serious on that shot? I mean, let's wind the shot clock all the way down and take a fadeaway in the corner and knock it down. Unbelievable.
They use the clock. Instead of a 2, they get a 3.
But Steve,
advantage Ducks.
Use the clock and run it down. You'd like to get a high percentage shot. Well, maybe that is a high percentage shot with Oregon. Who knows? I mean, they just run it down. A beautiful job to put it in the corner and knock down the 3. Well, we talked about the defensive effort by Oregon, and this typifies what they've done the whole game. And there you have to give Marty Lunan and the Ducks a great credit for team defense. And then here's the penetration, and look at Taylor. Taylor's almost sitting on the bench when he makes that shot. I mean, one step backwards, and he's right sitting next to the coach, and he makes an unbelievable shot to seal the deal here. Not quite over, but at 64-56, he sure like Oregon's chances. Up 8 with 38 seconds to go.
He makes his third three-pointer, the biggest of the game, and Oregon goes up 8 with 39.8 seconds left. All of a sudden, Nebraska staring in the face of their second defeat, and Ernie Kent trying to run his team to 7-0 for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah, but if Nebraska does not pull this game out, they play, I think, as well as they could, considering the fact that March only plays 5 minutes in the first half. Anderson gets a couple of fouls. And here's a
UCLA survives.
Well, we know Texas A&M is one of the top teams in the country. You knew that would be a very competitive game. UCLA did survive at 65-62. All right, don't forget now.
Still unbeaten, still number 1 in the nation.
You got fouls to take. If you're Oregon, you got fouls to take. You only got 2 team fouls, so get aggressive. See if you can take a foul here. Got fouls to take.
Well, they're being aggressive. Anderson throws it up, and we've got a charge against the Cornhuskers, and Oregon looks like they're just about ready to nail it down. Ernie not paying any attention to the pain that's going on in that right shoulder. He's fighting it through. Hairston was moving a little bit.
Got to make a foul here. You can't let much time elapse. You got to get after it.
And they do. 29.4 seconds remaining in this game.
So it's a double bonus, Steve, right now for Oregon. That was a 10th team foul for Nebraska. And I really thought Nebraska gave it a great effort this afternoon. A little bit shorthanded. Jamel White not here. He was left back home. And March picks up the fouls. And Ryan Anderson a couple of fouls in the first half. And I thought they defended Oregon exceedingly well. And Ernie Kent's team, this is a dangerous Oregon team. And, they did not shoot the ball this afternoon like they can. Now, there's a reason for it. I think Nebraska played terrific defense, but Oregon's explosive. They can come down and hit 4 or 5 threes in a hurry on you. And with Tawan Porter and Brooks and a reborn Taylor and Malik Hairston now healthy, and how about Marty Lunan? I mean,
I love his game.
A superb. If you talk about a player of the game, I mean, what more can Marty Lunan do? He's really done everything for Oregon this afternoon.
And they could be unbeaten by the time Pac-10 play begins December 30th. They have one more really tough game left, and that is Eastern Washington. But that will be played at Mac Court. And a foul against Nebraska will send Tawan Porter to the free throw line. So this is an Oregon team that people picked 4th in the Pac-10 conference behind UCLA, Arizona, and Washington. And it was mainly because they had so many players back, but they were coming back, Dan, from a a team that went 15-18 and finished 7th in the Pac-10. There was a lot of disappointment last year.
Oh, I don't think there's any question there was a lot of disappointment in Eugene. And I think that the catalyst of this team has been Tawan Porter. You know, he really got him off to a great start. And all of a sudden the confidence grew. And the other thing that really helped them, I think, was the trip to Bahamas, the unbelievable conditioning program that they employed, where all of their players are in super shape. And it's translated into a lot of ways. Now it's a confidence factor. Winning breeds more confidence. And you get a little guy like this, Tawan Porter, and he gives it not only a big lift from the perimeter, but he's a pretty good free throw shooter. You know, he's a guy that can get to the line. To my recollection, I think he's only missed one free throw the whole year.
And Dan, they've got 5 guys on the floor at all times, particularly when they get Champ and Gucci back, who can hit a three-pointer. I mean, you stretch the defense, you got speed, you got guys with the ability to shoot.
Steve, I've always thought that's a real advantage. when you have shooters, can't have too many shooters.
Well, Nebraska will fall to 5-2 on the year, and Oregon will run the record to 7-0. They have one impressive win over Georgetown, and now one in Portland against the Big 12 Nebraska Cornhuskers.
And don't forget, I thought a terrific comeback win at Rice when the Owls had the Ducks, and Oregon found a way to win that game. So, you know, this is, again, I love the competitiveness of an intersectional battle, and I thought both teams really did a nice job here this afternoon, Steve.
Ernie Kent gets the victory over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and the Ducks 7-0 for the first time in 10 years. Well, that's it from Portland, where the final score again is Nebraska 56 and Oregon 68. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for ACC Sunday Night Hoops as Maryland takes on Boston College. Coverage begins with our college basketball tip-off show at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. For Dan Belwamity, I'm Steve Biziak saying so long, everyone. Thanks for watching Pac-10 Hoops on FSN.